He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
I think the lessons learned from the long period from 2008 to 2022 of super low rates is house prices go through the roof. Mm-hmm. Bad decisions are made. People make bad decisions.
Yeah.
There's too much exuberance about buying houses, about buying investment properties, about buying investments. The stock market's gone through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not a stock market guy, but I know enough to say, fuck me, it's very, very high.
Even like investment condos, right? Like people owning 12 condos.
Oh, shit, yeah. I mean,
it got bizarre.
It got bizarre, and it is bizarre. Okay? And look, I think that governments and central banks realize that wasn't smart. Mm-hmm. That was not a smart situation. And I think that, particularly in Canada, there's still noise. There's still noise. Like, for instance, we had a what was called a GDP report, gross domestic product report, which is trying to measure the whole economic growth of a country. Now, in Canada, we're like ultra fucked trying to measure that because, no, seriously, we are. Because we brought in 3.5 million people in 3 years.
Of course, it's going to look like our economy's great.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Like, I mean, you bring in like you increase your population by 10% in 3.5 years. And fuck me, there's a lot of people to feed. Yeah. There's a lot of people to drive around. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people to need someplace to sleep.
Basic necessities keeps the economy moving, basically.
Well, it keeps the gross economy growing. Mm-hmm. But guess what? When you dig beneath the surface of this, because this report today makes it look like, yeah, fuck, we're doing good in Canada.
Yeah.
We are not fucking doing good in Canada.
It's only a small percentage of people doing okay.
A percentage. Okay, but let's read. But really, when you add massive numbers of people, you push an economy up artificially. Okay, so for the individual person, though, because you can do that, you can break down GDP growth per capita. So that's per person. And guess what? We are fucking on that one. Yeah. We're absolutely fucking. We are literally in a full-blown individual GDP, per capita GDP recession. Like, we're like the worst in the G7. Like, people say, oh, yeah, you're one of the best in the G7. Fuck off on an individual person, which is all that counts, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a country. You're not a country.
No.
Okay?
No.
We're people. And how's things going for us personally? Not so fucking hot. Okay.
Trauma bonding at this point.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Remember that. That's a good one. All right. So, yeah, for individual Canadians, fucking terrible.
It is,
okay.
Yeah.
Like, and statistically bad too. When you break it down by individual, we have some of the worst results in the G7 countries. So
that's sad.
Everybody's telling us we have some of the best. No, for individual people, it's some of the worst. Okay. It's bad. It is. And it's not, but there's a lot of noise. And some of the noise is things like, somebody published the other day, look, on average, for all Canadian workers, wages are staying ahead, just a bit, of inflation. Well, that's fucked up. Okay. Doesn't sound right.
No.
Does it? Okay, it does not sound right.
No, it does not.
Well, because when you dig under the surface,
you
find out it's fuckery. Okay. Look, when you dig under the surface, you see, okay, there's a group of people who've done well in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And, they're very specific kinds of people. They're people who already were high-income people. Mm-hmm. They're high-skill people. They might have tremendous, assets they can bring to bear in digital or finance or some other specialty area. Hell, they might even be a master electrician who's highly sought after, and other companies come out and grab that guy.
Right.
Okay? Same at the banks. Not so much today or for the last year, but for years, people were grabbing other talent from other banks because they had, they'd been successful at that bank. Let's grab them for our bank.
Right.
And to do that, you got to bid them up. Okay. So yeah, in that very select group of specific jobs who were already doing pretty fucking good already.
Right.
Okay. They did fine. They did beat inflation, sometimes by a good measure. Okay. But everybody else, no. Like when you analyze the people who are, here's the group from minimum wage to $20 an hour. They're terrible. That's been terrible for them.
I lived on my own when I worked minimum wage, like 5-6 years ago. That's not that long ago. I paid my rent. I was in school, and my minimum wage plus, commission, I was comfortable. Now
you're okay.
I was okay. Now you need like 7 roommates if you're making minimum wage. And even with bonuses or whatever, like you're still not affording the apartments.
No.
You can't afford much.
Absolutely. Statistically, those people are in terrible shape.
Yeah.
Those people from minimum wage to $20 an hour. The people from $20 an hour to $27.50 are also in terrible shape versus inflation. They've done badly. Okay. When you do that analysis, that's 70% of the whole population is doing for shit.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another group that's done well, and they yank the average up. So when you point at the average, but actually the medium's garbage, and the average and the regular people who are not the special group are just fucked over.
Yeah.
Okay. That's terrible. That's not the way to run a country. That's bad.
No.
Okay. And that's why when you talk to people, there in any survey done, people are pissed.
Oh, of course.
The average person in Canada is pissed. Like, if you said, are you better off today than you were 6 years ago?
No.
It was like 10% say yes, 90% said no, things are shit. Okay.
Yeah.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.